Welcome to Meowify, where we venture into the wild west of Reddit. Today we have two posts from r/rpghorrorstories. Our first story is from a user called Bryson64. One day I am sitting at home and scrolling through Facebook when I see an ad on a D&D group page to audition to be a cast member or DM for a new and upcoming D&D stream. The advertisement looks good, and he has a Discord link posted. I figured, why not? I open the link, and lo and behold, the project creator is in voice chat. I jump in and say hello. I tell him some of my experience as a DM, and I set up an audition. Within a few days, I audition, and a few days later, to my surprise, I am his top pick for DM. I am honored, but now I have to put some serious thought into becoming his DM, as this is a big commitment. After a week or so, I let him know that I am currently too busy to be his DM, and offer myself as his backup should he not be able to find a suitable replacement in a few months. He asked me to be a character, as it's significantly less responsibility. I tell him I need to think about it, but he falls so much in love with my character idea and my voice acting that he begins ordering art commissions for my character, announcing me as his first audition pick, and putting my character in all his banner art, and using my voice clips to convince people this is a legit project. Over the next few weeks, months, I am participating in his auditions and offering ideas on his product, and then the whole thing begins to tear at the seams. He begins to show his true nature as a rude and emotionally abusive person. Turns out this guy has a history of unsuccessful streams that he's tried to start that have all fallen apart due to him throwing temper tantrums on stream and all of his quote-unquote friends abandoning him. As he begins to gather a group of people who want to support his vision and passion, we begin to run into many people who run away from the project the moment they hear the name of the person running it. He begins to hit on the female cast members, and they start to become uncomfortable having one-on-one voice video calls with him, and require that at least one other person be present. He finds a very talented person to become the DM, and asks to start a relationship with her, to which she declines. He checks out the social media posts of cast members, or others who would want to be involved with the project, and demands certain posts be removed, and cautions everyone to watch what they post. He then begins to post militant, controversial political opinions, and starts tearing apart the cast, demanding that we agree with him politically. He begins to lecture others on their acting style and play style, while it becomes clear he is the weakest link of the current cast. When someone fails an audition, he will keep them around for an hour or so, and lecture them on everything they did wrong, and tell them they are not going further in the audition process, but they should stick around to learn from him so that they can essentially be rehabilitated or coached to become good players or DMs. When the group of people attached to his vision approached him about his radical ideologies, his abrasive and rude behavior, or ways he could improve himself for the project, he begins throwing around the fact that he is the boss, this is his project, and he spends the money so he doesn't want to hear any feedback on his decisions. He keeps propping me up as his best cast member and says things like, "My name and me are the only ones who are a definite in this project. The rest of you have a lot to prove." I told him many times that I have seen a pattern of destructive behavior, and that his previous streams ended in failure because of his destructive behavior. I told him that I wanted to see his attitude change if I was going to proceed spending my time and energy on this project. Finally, I watched him explode and yell at everyone for the last time, and I respectfully told him I can no longer participate in this project. In a typical, "You can't quit, you're fired" manner, he told me that I was no longer welcome on his project. Months later, his project still isn't off the ground, and it probably never will be. and I am so happy I took a step back from the idea of being a professional streamer and just play D&D for fun. If you are asked to participate in a stream or to audition for a project, make sure you spend time getting to know who is running it. You might end up just wasting a lot of your free time. Bryson, that is so unfortunate that you had to go through this. It is not great when people are completely blind to their behavior and how it affects everything around them. I hope if you decide to look at entering a D&D stream again in the future that you run into a better person and are able to make it work. The next story is from someone I know about their first time playing D&D and a DM who was an absolute jerk to them, up to and including their character being assaulted in-game. So this is a tale of the first time I played D&D 3.5e back when I was in Job Corps. I liked the idea of drow, an evil elven race, which was something new to me at the time. So I made Kiel, a drow fighter who liked bastard swords. I went with neutral evil, which I felt was the best look, I care about myself more than I do other people setup I could. Kiel's main goal was to enjoy himself and make his own life better. He didn't care about following rules or bucking the system, just wanted to do whatever it took to improve his life. If this meant doing good deeds, he'd do them. If this meant setting an orphanage on fire to escape the guards, he'd do that too. Most of the rest of our party was fine. There was Matt the Paladin, played by a guy named Matt, who wanted to be a cop. Cornac, the evil cleric, who was played by one of the sweetest people ever, was fun trying to watch her be evil. Elfgarian, the chaotic neutral rogue, who wore a trench coat. I think that explains itself. Then there's the problems. Rizzle was a female Dritz, basically. Dark elf ranger who used 2 scimitars, was chaotic good, and had an animal companion, which was like a house cat or some crap because the DM wouldn't give him a panther. Rizzle was being played by a guy named Shark. He was the typical, I don't have time for hygiene, neckbeard before neckbeards were a category, and also the DM's best friend. The other issue was the DM PC, Elena. We got told base classes only. Elena was a ninja, with 15 in every stat. DM makes us roll up level 10 characters, asks us where we want to start without really telling us anything about the world or town we're in. Okay. I ask about a dark bar with good liquor, get told there's one for light sensitive types. I start there. So does Rizzle, who begins taking the spotlight by getting drunk and hating on herself for being of an evil race. I swear to God, if you told Shark the room was circular, he'd magic up a corner to get into and be edgy. I ignored this mess, so Shark has his PC begin hitting on mine. What follows is Kiel explaining, if you broke your face and let it heal up, it'd be an improvement. F off. Shark began getting upset I wasn't RPing with him how he wanted. So the DM poofs his ninja into the tavern, and she lambasts my character for talking to another woman like that, and begins a bosom buddy setup with Shark's PC that would end up poisoning this whole campaign. Then, the ninja explains the plot hook. Ruins exploring and needs a team, yada yada. Kiel joins because ruins equals treasure. We grab the rest of the team and head to the ruins, which is supposed to be a 2-day trip. Almost immediately, we're attacked by hellhounds. The DM tries to show off his ninja skills and one-up us, but he keeps rolling like crap. In the end, my high strength and cleave ability, along with the paladin's smite evil and the rogue's backstabs, means the DM is hopelessly outdone on damage. DM gets a sour face, so we fight more fights before he finally gets to pull what he calls some epic ninja crap in a fight and lets us get on with things. We gained 2 levels just off the fighting. It was a lot of grindy crap. As soon as we enter the ruins, the DMPC begins finding traps without even rolling and disabling them. Elfgarian's player gets a bit upset about this. Shark has Rizzle ask Kiel if he likes traps while winking at me out of game. I ask the DM what kind of traps and he says pressure plates on the floor. So Kiel grabs the ranger's house cat and shot puts it down the hallway. Why the F did you do that? Not from Shark, from the DM. It can pick the traps on its way out. DM makes me suddenly roll reflex, so I do. I fall into a pit that apparently is on a delayed timer to open for how long I'd been standing in the same spot that it never opened. As the party goes through the dungeon, the DM sidelines me into being chained up and guarded by a goblin. I manage to break my chains and try to grapple the goblin. I roll a 1. The DM decides that the goblin is going to assault some humility into my drow. When the party arrives, Kiel has broken loose and murdered the thing with its own shin bone after severing it. I figured after that mess, something mental must be wrong with my guy, so he just stops talking in game. I just have him giggle whenever someone wants to talk to him. A few sessions later, I guess he felt bad, so the DM gave me a +2 bastard sword that screams, "Jackass!" whenever I touch it. I won't lie, I got petty. Kiel would unsheath the sword to make it scream whenever he didn't like someone. Elena says something high and mighty, "Jackass!" Brizzle hits on him, "Jackass!" NPC asks us to save his life out of the goodness of our hearts, "Jackass!" I guess the DM got tired of me having a creative way to insult his PC, so he has us fight a frost elemental. I kill it, and it re-enchants my sword. Now, it doesn't talk, but in return, it's a +3 and deals 1d4 of frost damage. Kiel was actually sad about not having his jackass blade anymore. I should mention here that all this time, the other players have been getting some good gear also. No one had a +3 weapon, but the paladin got good armor, the rogue got boots that let him sneak easier, the cleric got a talisman that increased their spells per day, Rizzle got a belt that upped her strength to 22 instantly, making her stronger than Kiel. Elena got god tier equipment to show off, and Shark began sucking up to the DM and managed to also snag a ring that restored half of any damage they took each round. Once more, Elfgarian and I brought up how that wasn't cool. Elfgarian's player finally told the DM he was being a jerk by making a PC to show off and then giving it so much crap. We get into another fight, this time with a giant deep under the ruins. Rizzle keeps hitting on Kiel, and Shark is making jokes out of game about it. I got sick of it. On my turn, Kiel shoves Rizzle under the giant's foot as he steps down. The DM protests, but relents and lets us roll for it. Kiel is giggling like mad as Rizzle is crushed under 1,000 pounds of giant foot. The DM tries to say some crap about the ring shattering to restore her life, but this time even the other 2 players call him on his bull, so he drops it. Shark rage quits and we end the session. The next session, the DMPC is itching for a fight with me, calling my character names, insulting him and his race and his lineage, shoving into him and shoulder checking him a lot. Kiel just giggles at everything in return. Out of game, the DM is making it clear he's singling me out for punishment for making Shark quit. I let it all go, basically ignoring it. Finally, the DMPC attacks my PC. The rest of the group jumps in, but on my side. Even with the stupidly OP equipment and class, the DMPC goes down, and the DM makes up some story about her body and all her equipment bursts into flame and vanishes to keep us from looting the corpse. He then rushes us to the end with, and I am not exaggerating, a heavy-handed scene cut of, "You make your way through the rest of the ruins over the next week, hungry and lost because Elena had the map and food. He says there's a dozen cultists in the heart of the ruins, and we're fighting them now. No idea why, who they are or anything." Matt almost goes down in the first round before Elfgarian starts throwing magic out of wands he's been collecting. At the time, I had no idea Rose could do that. He was the MVP of that fight. The rest of us mopped up behind him. Then the entire ruins begin to rumble as a 50-foot-tall thing breaks through the ground and ceiling and everything. Suddenly, we're outside and the cultists manage to resurrect their dead god. It sees us, and without even bothering for an initiative roll, one-shots Matt, Elfgarian, and Cornac. It also punches Kiel, but with his high health, I actually survived by 5 HP. On my turn, I decide to go stupid and run up its arm to call shot its neck. DM's gonna be a cheat butt? I'm gonna stop trying hard. DM makes me roll acrobatics, which I barely pass. Then Elfgarian hands me a dice he said was pre-rolled. I still don't understand that superstition. I did crit though. DM says the god is immune to normal weapons and cannot be harmed by my attack. It needs enchanted weapons, which Elena had, but alas, she is dead. I point out that my sword is enchanted, a +3 frost sword. DM said the god is immune to earthly weapons. Elfgarian's player stands up and threatens to leave if the DM doesn't stop being a jerk and grow up. DM finally says, "Fine. The god is beheaded, but the fall down knocks Kiel unconscious and ends the session." Next session, he has all of us wake up to find Elena standing over us saying everything that happened was just a dream. Now let's get to those ruins for real. Matt just gets up and walks off. The rest of us follow him while the DM cusses us out for ruining his campaign. I didn't touch another tabletop RPG for over a decade after that. I wasn't aware not all DMs were complete and utter jerks like mine was. I figured the main people who DM'd were people who wanted to abuse it for power gaming. I actually was and am quite familiar with that type of person from years of online RPG with admin like that, so I assumed DMs were the same. Thankfully, I got over it and have done some light tabletop since then, like WRM and Pathfinder. So yeah, first campaign, the DM tried to show off his uber-leet PC and had my PC assaulted by a goblin, tried to give his best friend everything he wanted on a silver platter, tried to kill me for making the other player quit, and then tried to retcon the whole mess after, derailing himself for revenge. Matt actually gave that DM another chance. Said it was basically the same mess. DM PC was a half-dragon rogue assassin with 18 and everything. Shark was there, and at level 3 had fully enchanted gear and could use wizard spells at his clerical casting level, even though he never classed into wizard or sorcerer. He left. Oh, it's not a wonder that my friend decided to not touch a tabletop RPG for quite some time after that. It's really unfortunate when people meet a DM like this, where they're just wanting to play with people and just take over everything. Honestly, if this type of person really wanted to control everything like that, they should just write a story. Thank you for coming to Meowify. I hope you enjoyed these D&D stories. If you did, please like, share, and maybe subscribe. I'm going to post a video at least once a week, generally over the weekend. If you have suggestions on which subreddits I should read or react to next, please leave it in a comment down below. And with that said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day.